As you saw on the thumbnail and the title, today I'm going to be talking about different luxury pricing models. So when you're buying a luxury bag, what are you actually paying for? And hi, if you're new here, my name is Elaine, and on my channel I like to talk about bags from mid-range to vintage luxury. And today's video was sparked by an Instagram post that I saw from Emily Urkel. And so I'm just going to throw it up here. I'm going to link her Instagram account down below. But I really thought there was some interesting points to her post, and I wanted to go over it here, especially since I do end up buying a lot of the brands that she's talking about. And I also want to share because I wanted to get your feedback. What do you think about what she's saying here? I'm very interested to see if we are like-minded or of opposite minds. So let's dive in. All right, so the title starts off with, I source rare luxury bags. Here's what you're actually paying for. It's not always what you think. A Chanel bag taught me luxury pricing is not just about cost. A brand new Chanel classic flap retail had jumped from $5,800 to $10,800 in 4 years. Same lambskin, same hardware, same construction. The bag hadn't changed, the price had. Luxury pricing isn't cost plus markup. It's about what the brand represents and what the market will pay. So first off, I agree. Yes, it is really about what the market will pay. If you've seen any of Tanner Leatherstein's dissection videos, you know that you're buying into the feeling of the luxury or the brand or the message, and it's kind of just fluff. It's not really about the bag, the materials, craftsmanship per se, because the markup is so ridiculous. And so, yeah, she does make a good point here. You know, Chanel pricing has gone through the roof. Everyone's been talking about it. That's not news. And she's right. Nothing really has changed. So it's really just what the market is willing to pay. And I do think right now, you know, Chanel, before Matthew Blazy, all that old stuff, people weren't willing to pay for it anymore. Like Chanel, I think their growth had slowed in terms of profit. And so that's why I think they probably did a little bit of a shakeup. I would never buy Chanel now because the last brand new Chanel flap that I bought was in 2013, and I want to say I paid $3,500. Maybe it was $39,000, which at that time I thought was ridiculous, but $10,800, who are you kidding? It's not worth $10,800. Why understanding pricing models changes how you shop. When you know what drives pricing, you make smarter decisions. Buying for investment, you need craft-driven pricing. Buying for daily use, brand and craft gives you quality and recognition. So I think what she means here is the brand name plus the high quality construction due to craft, and I guess some brand recognition for daily use is what she thinks is essential. Buying for the moment, trend pricing gives you relevance now, but not longevity. And none are wrong, but mismatching your goals to the model leads to disappointment. So true. I will agree with that. You know, if you're going to buy a trendy bag, you have to know it has a shelf life. Even this Chanel 25 that everyone's going crazy over, there's a shelf life. There was a shelf life for the Chanel 19. There's going to be one for the 22. I mean, it's starting to peter off. The boy bag, you know, and the Chanel 25 is going to be right up there with them. So sorry to Chanel lovers. The daily use, I have a little bit of a different requirement. It would have to be functional, durable, so that I guess that's under quality of construction and craft. I don't think you need necessarily brand recognition in this day and age. I rather use what I like, and it doesn't have to be flashy, I guess. I don't really agree there. Buying for investment is definitely craft driven. So what does that mean? Craft driven pricing, you're paying for production reality. So examples, Hermes, Birkin 25 retail, $11,400. Resale is about $18,000 to $25,000. Of course, depending on the quality. New out of the box, you don't even touch it. You're just there to flip it. Yes, you can definitely get $18,000 to $25,000. Single artisan, 18 plus hours per bag. Price increases track with artisan scarcity and material costs. Resale appreciation proves the market believes pricing reflects actual value. What you're paying for time, skill, and genuine scarcity. So yes, this works for Birkins and Kellys, maybe some Constances, but I have to say it's not going to work across the whole Hermes lineup. Yes, every single bag is made with excellent craft, with skilled artisans, and it is scarce because, again, you know, everything's made hand stitched or machine stitched, but at least by one person. But you're not going to get the same value. Like a 24 in the 29 size right now, I think it's $12,000. I just sold mine and I think I got back, I want to say like $4,000. So I bought it for $6,000. I thought, oh, $6,000 is a great deal. So if you buy a bag for $12,000 from Hermes, single artisan, well crafted, but you're still gonna take home $3,000 when you resell it. This craft driven pricing is a little shaky. This is probably the most shaky premise in this whole model because it only applies to Birkins and Kellys. So I just wanted to caveat that. But yes, out of all the brands, Hermes is the only one that can command that price, and they know it. And that's why they have, pre-spend and getting to know your sales associate and all that. So that's just what it is. They know they can demand those prices and the pre-spend because when it comes to the Birkins and the Kellys, they resell for a lot more. Everything else, honestly, you're going to take a loss. I don't think I've ever purchased anything brand new from store from Hermes. And not that I've purchased anything brand new from store like Birkins or Kellys from the store. Like I don't do the pre-spend thing, so I don't get it. But basically everything that I bought brand new from store, I took a loss. Easy. Everything that I buy secondhand is a mixed bag. But the only time I ever break even or make even a little bit of money is when I buy the bag secondhand. So even craft-driven pricing, yeah, it doesn't apply across the board. Next, craft plus brand pricing. You're paying for quality and story. And I like how here she has the Margot 15, it looks like, in the background. So examples are Chanel, Bottega Veneta, and the Row. And I agree, for the most part, Bottega and the Row, they have good craft. I mean, that's what they're known for, to have good quality leathers, excellent craftsmanship. Quality is genuinely there, premium materials, thoughtful construction, but pricing also reflects brand heritage and creative direction. A classic Flaps 100% price increase isn't just production cost. Resale holds 50 to 70% because quality backs up some of the premium. What you're paying for, craft and narrative and positioning. I agree with that. Yeah, so like the Row, Bottega Veneta, you are paying for craft and the story and the positioning. And I think the Row prices reflect that. They're not going crazy. They are high, but they're high because they're using good quality materials with excellent construction. I don't think their markup is anywhere near the conglomerates, the LVMHs, the Kerings, those brands. Those markups are way bigger, I think. Personally, I don't know. And resale holds 50 to 70%. Yeah, fair. I would think so. I mean, that means you are losing about 30 to 50%, which is fair. I think the Row actually, if it's a current style that's still sold or just only a couple seasons old, I don't think you'll break even, but your loss would definitely be minimal. Of course, it depends also where you sell. When you sell it through Fashion File, the Real World, they're going to take their cut. So no matter what, you are going to have a little bit of a loss. If you are able to sell it in person to somebody else or through your Instagram account or to a friend, I'm sure it's much less of a loss. Next, access pricing. You're paying for entry to the luxury club. Examples, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada. These brands offer accessible entry to luxury. Canvas and logo forward designs let more people participate. Materials cost less than exotic leather. Production is more scalable. Resale depreciation, 40 to 60%, reflects that the premium is more about the logo than scarcity. What you're paying for, brand recognition, and luxury identity. So yeah, I think for some of these brands, you are buying into the culture, the relevance, and I don't want to say hype, but So this part she didn't actually put in the first slide. So she's talking about just the items that are priced a little bit lower in a full fashion house's repertoire. So a while ago, they had like these pyramids, right? So the bulk of, I think this was Dior stock, is the little bit lower priced items so that you can gain entry into it. And then at the very top of the pyramid, at the very pinnacle, is the most expensive items. That's only for the VVIPs. Yeah, I agree. Access pricing is so people can start to get into it. My advice here is if you're looking at these accessible priced items, you gotta go secondhand. Like, there's no reason to be buying these brand new, especially if you're being a little bit more cost conscious and value driven. Like, don't buy it brand new. Resale depreciation, this is for 40 to 60%. Honestly, I think you're looking for closer to 50 to 80%. Because like if it's one of these ones that everyone can buy and they're now up on all these resale sites, I would just go directly to the resale site and get it for 50 to 80% less. And then if you're a little bit unsure about authenticity, get it from Fashion File. Go get it authenticated at Real Authentications or even Legit Grails. And you still would spend less than buying it brand new. Especially since accessible pricing stuff are usually trendy. Like they're not going to put a classic leather bag as part of their accessible pricing models. Trend. So I mean, I feel like price accessibility and trend is sort of like adjacent, but I guess not really, because if you think about like the Chanel 25. So for the trend, you're paying for cultural relevance right now. Examples: Balenciaga, Dior seasonal pieces, collaboration, trend-driven luxury collaborations. And I would put like Chanel 25 on here. Trend-driven luxury is priced for the moment, not the decade. You're buying what's culturally relevant now. The it bag, the viral silhouette. Steep resale depreciation, 60 to 70% is expected because trend value fades. What you're paying for, being current cultural participation. So my only caveat on this is that if you do buy a trend-driven item and if you sell it right away, your depreciation was actually going to probably be closer to like 20-30%. The 60 to 70% only kicks in if you're holding on to it, and then it's going to be more like 50 to 80% for sure. Unless you're going to hold on to it until it comes back 2 decades from now. If you're in it for the long haul, then yes, things I think will be coming back around. Like I was just about to say, like the Gucci Dionysus was my example because I bought it. It was very trendy. I wanted to get the eyeballs on my IG. So I bought the bag, got some compliments, sure. But then I was like, it was also a really small bag. So this was one, accessible pricing and trendy at the same time. It was a Gucci Dionysus in a wallet on chain form. I realized quickly, like, it's not for me. I don't like wallet on chains. I like to carry more things. I don't like chain bags, so on and so forth. So then I sold it probably like within 3 months of buying it, maybe more like 3 to 6 months. I didn't break even, but I think the loss was less than $100. So yeah, it depends. So if you buy a Chanel 25 now, somehow you score it in the store, you wear it for, I don't know, a month, take really good care of it, and then you're just like, nah, I don't really like it. You would probably be able to sell it for just as much as what you bought it for, or even maybe a little bit more. If you hold on to that Chanel 25 until 2030, yes, you're looking at like probably 60 to 80% depreciation. Maybe even, maybe 2035. Because if you think about it now, the boy bag is super cheap. It's at like 80% depreciation. That was around at least 10, 15 years, right? So, and then before you buy, which pricing model am I buying into? Investment, resale value, if it's craft driven, Hermes, artisan pieces. Are you looking at long-term daily use? Craft plus brand, Chanel Bottega balances quality and recognition. Right now, access or trend, LV for logo, Balenciaga for moment. The mismatch kills value. Buying trend priced items expecting craft level resale, you're going to be disappointed. True. If you're going to be the buy and sell type of collector, you have to keep these things in mind. Timing is everything. If it's a trendy item, let it go sooner rather than later. But if you are a buy and hold type of collector, so these two distinctions is what I talked about in my tips for bag collectors. I think if you're the buy and hold type, this holds less true because you're not going to resell it, right? If you really love a bag, even if it's trendy and you're going to still wear it 10 years from now, it doesn't really matter what the resale pricing is. You're not going to be disappointed because you just love that bag, which might be true for the Chanel 25 for you. But yes, these are some of the things that I was thinking about. Okay, there's more. Different models serve different strategies. All are valid. Craft-driven. Hermes limits production to maintain mystique. Scarcity is real. Craft plus brand. Chanel, Bottega balance scale with exclusivity. Access. LV, Gucci democratizes luxury. More people can afford entry. Trend, Balenciaga, Dior capitalizes on cultural moments, high margins on hype, just different business models with different value propositions. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Dior, maybe it's because I'm a little partial to Jonathan Anderson. I think they're moving up a little bit more into the craft and brand storytelling level of Bottega, Chanel, and the Row. I think Chanel and Dior are trying to move up into that space. Resale value tells you which model you bought into. If it appreciates, its craft market agrees with the price of the production value. Hold 60 to 80% for craft and brand. Quality plus story justify the premium. Holds 30 to 50% access. Logo was the main premium. Drops 60% more. Trend, you paid for the moment. This isn't good or bad. It's just data about what the pricing reflected. I guess. Again, Hermes not across the board. Trendy items, even some stuff from the row, you sell it right away. Yeah, you're not gonna have as much of a drop. Even quality things like from Chanel or Bottega will have I think more than 60 to 80%. It really depends. I think she's maybe coming from a reseller without the middleman, but I think if you have the middleman, you're looking at bigger drops, obviously, because the middleman takes their cut. Anyways, that is sort of just some of my thoughts on that. Do you agree or disagree? Not to say that going forward when I buy things, I'm going to be thinking about it in these categories. I, for the most part, buy secondhand anyway. Anyways, that's it. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, I kindly ask that you consider liking or subscribing. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye!